Most people think anxiety just makes them feel bad. What they don't realize is that anxiety also changes the decisions they make, especially long-term ones. And not in obvious ways. Anxiety doesn't usually scream, "Make a bad choice." It whispers, "Just don't make this harder right now." And over time, that one pattern, choosing short-term relief over long-term alignment, can quietly shape a life you didn't actually want. Let's talk about how that happens, and how to make better decisions even when your nervous system is lit up. Anxiety is a threat detector, not a life planner. Anxiety evolved to keep you safe in the short term. It's very good at asking, "What could go wrong? How could this hurt me? What if this backfires?" It is not very good at asking, "What could grow here? What might improve? What kind of person would I become if I did this?" So when anxiety is high, your decision-making becomes heavily tilted toward avoiding loss, not building a better future. That's not weakness. That's biology. But if you don't notice it, anxiety starts quietly choosing your direction. How this plays out in real life: here's a pattern I see all the time. Someone is unhappy in their job. Not in crisis, just slowly drained. They think about applying elsewhere. Maybe learning a new skill. Maybe making a shift. But anxiety jumps in. What if you don't get anything better? What if you leave and regret it? What if you fail in a new role? So they stay. A year later, they're more tired. More cynical. Less confident. But now it feels even harder to leave, because the gap has grown. Anxiety protected them from short-term uncertainty, but quietly made the long-term problem bigger. Anxiety and later thinking. Anxiety also has a special relationship with the word later. I'll deal with that later. I'll make a move when I feel more ready. I just need things to settle down first. But here's the part we rarely say out loud. Things don't usually settle down before we act. They settle down because we act. Waiting for the anxiety to disappear before making a move is like waiting for the water to calm before learning to swim. The calm often comes from movement, not before it. Why anxiety feels like logic. The tricky part is that anxious thinking often sounds very reasonable. It doesn't sound like fear. It sounds like caution. It says, be realistic. Don't be reckless. Play it safe. And sometimes that's good advice. But sometimes playing it safe just means staying in a slow leak instead of risking a short splash. The question is not, is this risky? Everything meaningful has risk. The question is, which risk do I want to live with, the risk of change, or the risk of staying exactly where I am? A simple way to see past anxiety: when anxiety is loud, your mind zooms in on one possible future, the one where things go badly. So we widen the lens. Take a piece of paper and write 2 columns. Future A, if I stay where I'm, how will this likely feel in 6 months? 1 year? 5 years? Be honest, not dramatic. Then, future B, if I take a step toward change, not the fantasy version. The realistic one. What might improve? What might be hard but manageable? You're not trying to eliminate fear. You're trying to give your thinking more than one story. Anxiety shrinks your field of vision. Writing expands it. Controlled risk instead of all or nothing. Anxiety loves extremes. Either stay safe, or leap into chaos. But most meaningful change doesn't require a leap. It requires a step. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You can update your resume this week. You don't have to confront everything in one conversation. You can bring up one small issue calmly. Small, controlled risks teach your nervous system that movement does not equal disaster. That's how confidence is built, not by thinking, but by evidence. Practical action you can take this week: think of one area where you've been saying later for a while. Career. Health. A conversation. A decision. Then ask, what is the smallest step that moves me 1% toward the direction I actually want? Not the whole plan. Just the next inch. Send one email. Make one call. Spend 20 minutes researching. You are not trying to eliminate anxiety. You are showing it that you can move with it in the room. In closing, anxiety is trying to protect you. But if you're not careful, it will protect you from growth, change, and a future you might actually prefer. You don't have to silence anxiety to move forward. You just have to stop letting it make all the decisions. In the comments, I'm curious, where does anxiety most influence your choices right now? Work, relationships, or personal goals?